How to push yourself to improve. Daily discipline for massive growth. Written and published by Echo Tales. Introduction. Growth begins the moment you decide that the way you lived yesterday is no longer enough for the person you want to become tomorrow. That decision is powerful. It is the spark that can rewrite your future, and it is the reason this book exists. This book is about pushing yourself a little more each day. Not through pressure, not through stress, but through simple, steady discipline that builds real results over time. In these chapters, you will learn how daily actions shape your direction. You will see how small steps can create massive change. You will discover how to stay consistent, even when you feel tired, unmotivated or unsure. Most of all, you will learn how to rise above your excuses and reach the potential you know is inside you. The goal of this book is clear: to help you grow, to guide you towards stronger habits, to show you the path of discipline that leads to confidence, progress, and lasting improvement. You will learn how to set a daily standard for yourself, how to build momentum, how to break through resistance, and how to keep going when most people stop. Every idea in this book is simple. Every example is practical. Every lesson is designed to be used in your everyday life. You will not hear theories that are hard to apply. You will hear steps you can take today. As you listen, let each chapter remind you of one truth. Growth is not an event. It is a practice. A practice you can build. A practice you can trust. A practice that will change everything if you stay with it. This is your journey, your discipline, your improvement, and it begins right now. Chapter 1. Why growth begins with a decision. Growth does not begin with a plan. It does not begin with motivation. It begins with a decision. A quiet moment when you say to yourself, "I want more than this. I can become more than this." That single moment has the power to change your life. Not because everything changes instantly, but because you change. Your direction shifts. Your awareness sharpens. Your desire to improve becomes real for the first time. Many people try to grow without making this decision. They want better health, better habits, or better results, but they never draw a clear line in the sand. They hope things will improve on their own. But hope is not a strategy. Only a decision can create a new path. The turning point. Think back to a time when you felt stuck. Maybe it was a project you delayed for months. Maybe it was a habit you wanted to break. You may have waited for motivation to arrive, but it never came with the strength you expected. Then one day something happened. You became tired of your own excuses. You reached a point where the pain of staying the same was greater than the effort of changing. In that moment you made a decision, and everything shifted. This is the real beginning of growth. Not when you start the work, but when you decide you will start, no matter how difficult the journey becomes. A story of a simple choice. Consider the story of a young man who wanted to get fit. He bought new shoes, downloaded workout plans and watched countless videos. But he never exercised. He waited for the perfect day. He waited for motivation. He waited for energy. And weeks turned into months. One morning he looked in the mirror and felt a sudden clarity. He realized that if he did not start today, he would say the same thing tomorrow. So he made a simple decision. He told himself, "I will walk for 10 minutes each day. Not run, not lift, just walk." That 10-minute commitment changed everything. It taught him discipline. It proved that he could follow through. And it opened the door to bigger habits. His growth did not start with the workout. It started with a decision to stop delaying his life. This same pattern applies to every form of improvement. Your decision becomes the anchor. Your decision becomes the promise you keep with yourself. The power of inner commitment. A decision is powerful because it creates internal alignment. Your mind, your energy and your actions begin to move in the same direction. You are no longer fighting yourself. You gain clarity. You gain focus. You gain momentum. Without a decision, improvement feels heavy. You feel uncertain. You feel scattered. You feel like you are walking through fog. With a decision, the fog lifts. Your path becomes visible. You know what you must do next. And each small action becomes easier, because it supports something greater. This is why discipline becomes possible only after the decision is made. Discipline is the expression of that choice. It is the daily behavior that protects it. Real change begins inside. Real growth is not forced from the outside. It comes from an internal shift. A shift that says, I am responsible for my future. When that belief becomes clear, excuses lose their power. You no longer blame time. You no longer blame circumstances. You no longer wait for ideal conditions. You simply begin. This inner change is quiet. It does not need applause. It does not need recognition. But it transforms everything. Actionable insight. Make your decision visible. To strengthen your decision, make it visible. Speak it aloud. Write it down. Place it somewhere you see every day. This gives your choice a physical form. It turns a thought into a commitment. For example, write a simple sentence. I will work on my growth every day. Keep it on your desk or your wall. Each glance reminds you of the path you have chosen. This small action protects your future. It prevents you from slipping back into old patterns. It supports your discipline before discipline becomes a habit. A new direction begins now. As you begin this book, let this chapter serve as your starting point. Not a starting point of action, but of intention. Take a moment to make your own decision. A clear, personal decision to grow. It does not need to be emotional. It simply needs to be real. Tell yourself that you are ready to improve. Tell yourself that you are ready to improve. Tell yourself that you deserve better than your past. Tell yourself that the next chapter of your life begins with this choice. From here on, everything you do will build on this decision. Every habit, every challenge, every small victory, they all begin with this moment. Growth is not a mystery. It is not luck. It is a decision you repeat each day. And today, you have made the first one. Chapter 2. The Power of a Daily Standard. Every day you wake up with a choice. You can rise to the level of your goals, or you can fall to the level of your habits. The difference between the two is your daily standard. A daily standard is the line you refuse to cross, no matter how tired, distracted, or busy you feel. It is the rule you set for yourself. A rule that protects your growth and guides your decisions. Many people rely on motivation to push them forward, but motivation rises and falls like the weather. A daily standard is different. It stays steady. It gives you a clear direction, even when your emotions shift. Think of it as a personal code, a quiet promise that shapes the way you show up every single day. Why standards are more powerful than goals. Goals matter. They give you something to aim for. But goals do not control your daily behavior. Your standards do. A goal says, I want to be healthy. A daily standard says, I move my body every day, even if it is for 10 minutes. A goal says, I want to work on myself. A daily standard says, I spend at least 15 minutes on personal growth every morning. A goal imagines a future. A standard directs your present. And the present is where real change takes place. When you set a daily standard, you create consistency. And consistency is what turns small actions into massive transformation. A story about minimum standards. There was once a woman who wanted to write a book. She dreamed about it for years. She talked about it with friends. She planned to start one day, but life kept getting in the way. Then she made a simple change. She set a daily standard. I will write 1 paragraph each day. Only 1. She did not wait for inspiration. She did not wait for the perfect mood. She followed her standard. Some days she wrote more. Some days she wrote only that single paragraph. But she never broke her rule. Within a few months, her dream had turned into a complete draft. Not because she had more talent than others. Not because her life became easier. But because she held herself to a simple, unbreakable standard. This is the power of a daily standard. Small, clear, non-negotiable, and deeply effective. Standards build identity. When you set a daily standard, you are doing more than controlling your behavior. You are shaping your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who keeps promises, someone who takes growth seriously. Identity is a powerful force. When you believe you are disciplined, you act disciplined. When you believe you are consistent, you behave consistently. Your standards reinforce this belief every day. It is not about perfection. It is about showing up for yourself. And when you show up for yourself, you strengthen your confidence. You feel a quiet pride that pushes you to do even better. How to create a daily standard. A strong daily standard is simple. It does not require long hours. It does not require ideal conditions. It only requires commitment. Here is a clear way to build your own. Step 1. Choose an area you want to improve. It could be fitness, learning, finances, or personal discipline. Step 2. Set the smallest action you can perform every day. Make it easy enough that you cannot avoid it. Step 3. Make it non-negotiable. This is now your daily rule. Not a wish. Not a hope, a rule. Step 4. Track your efforts. Not for pressure, for awareness and motivation. Once your standard becomes automatic, you can raise it. But start small. Small keeps you consistent. Small keeps you moving. Small leads to big. The hidden strength of standards. A daily standard removes confusion. You no longer wonder, should I do this today? You no longer argue with yourself. You simply follow your rule. This reduces mental stress. It frees your mind from decision fatigue. It gives you more energy for the rest of your life. Your standard becomes a compass, a guide that keeps you aligned with your goals, even when your emotions shift. And the more you honor your standard, the more you trust yourself. You begin to feel capable. You begin to feel stronger. You begin to feel in control of your life. Actionable insight. Set your first standard today. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Set your first daily standard right now. Something small. Something simple. Something you can complete in less than 10 minutes. It might be reading 1 page of a book, stretching before bed, reviewing your goals each morning, or writing 1 clear thought in a journal. Whatever you choose, let it be meaningful, let it be doable, and let it be yours. Your standard shapes your future. When you honor your daily standard, you create momentum, you build discipline, you gain confidence, you step closer to the life you want. Your future is not shaped by what you do once in a while. It is shaped by what you do every day. And what you do every day is defined by the standards you set. Hold your standard. Protect it. Grow through it. Because the moment you do, your life will begin to rise to meet the person you are becoming. Chapter 3. Small steps that create big results. Big change rarely comes from big actions. It comes from small steps repeated with patience and purpose. These steps seem simple. Sometimes they look too small to matter, but over time they create powerful results that most people never expect. Growth is not built in sudden leaps. It is built in quiet moments of effort. Moments when you choose to show up, even when no one is watching. Moments when you take one more step toward the person you want to become. Many people ignore small steps because they want quick progress. They want dramatic change. They want overnight success. But dramatic change is unstable. It breaks under pressure. Small steps, on the other hand, develop strength, discipline and durability. Why small steps are so effective? Small steps remove the pressure. They turn impossible tasks into manageable actions. They keep your mind calm and your motivation steady. Most importantly, they help you avoid the biggest enemy of growth: overwhelm. When a goal feels too big, the mind freezes. You stall. You delay. You tell yourself you will start tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. A small step breaks that cycle. It gives you something simple you can complete right now. Small steps also build momentum. Once you take one action, you are more likely to take the next. Momentum creates progress. Progress creates confidence. And confidence creates the desire to keep going. A real example of the power of small. There was a man who wanted to get out of debt. His situation was heavy. His bills were high. His stress was constant. He tried to fix everything at once, but the weight was too much. So he avoided the problem completely. One day he decided to try a different approach. He set a small rule. Every day I will pay something, he said. Even if it is only $1. Some days he paid more. Some days he paid the minimum. But he never skipped a day. Months passed. His balance began to shrink. He felt lighter. He felt more in control. Eventually he became debt-free. Not because he had a sudden burst of money, but because he honored one small step for a long time. This story is a reminder that progress does not require perfection. It requires consistency. Small steps work because they keep you engaged with your goal, even when life gets tough. Small steps strengthen self-trust. When you take a small step every day, you build trust with yourself. You prove that you can follow through. You show yourself that you are reliable. Self-trust is the foundation of discipline. Without it, every change feels fragile. Think about how you feel when you break your own promises. You create doubt. You feel weaker. You lose confidence. Now think about how you feel when you complete a small step. You feel capable. You feel steady. You feel aligned with your goals. This feeling grows each day. It becomes a quiet strength that pushes you forward. And over time it becomes part of who you are. The compound effect in daily life. Small steps trigger something powerful called the compound effect. It means simple actions, repeated with consistency, multiply over time. The results begin tiny, but they increase steadily. Soon you see progress in places you once thought were stuck. Read 2 pages each morning. After a year you have finished several books. Walk 10 minutes a day. After a year you have covered miles and strengthened your health. Save a small amount each week. After a year you have built a safety net. These small acts stack on top of each other. They create results that look big but were built through tiny, steady actions. The compound effect rewards patience. It rewards discipline. It rewards the person who understands that daily progress matters more than instant success. How to start with small steps. Starting with small steps is simple, but it requires intention. Here is a clear process. Step 1. Choose one area of your life to improve. Not 3, not 5, just 1. Step 2. Create the smallest action you can perform daily. Make it so easy that you cannot avoid it. Step 3. Commit to that action for 1 week. Focus only on consistency. Step 4. Celebrate each completion. This reinforces the habit and strengthens your confidence. As your confidence grows, you can increase the step, but your focus should always remain on consistency, not speed. Actionable insight. Reduce the goal, not the dream. When things feel difficult, do not lower your dream. Lower the size of your step. If you cannot work for an hour, work for 5 minutes. If you cannot write a page, write 1 sentence. If you cannot meditate for 10 minutes, breathe deeply for 30 seconds. The dream stays the same. Only the step becomes smaller. This keeps you moving. This keeps you growing. This keeps your discipline alive. Small steps lead to big change. At first, small steps seem insignificant. They look too simple to matter. But they are the foundation of every long-term transformation. Small steps build strength. Small steps build discipline. Small steps build belief. And belief fuels action. Soon the results become visible. Your mindset shifts. Your habits improve. Your confidence grows. And you realize that the life you want is not built in giant leaps. It is built in small, steady steps you choose to take every day. Your journey begins with 1 step. Take it, honor it, repeat it, and watch how those small steps create results bigger than anything you imagined. Chapter 4. Mastering your mindset. Your mindset is the quiet voice that shapes every choice you make. It influences what you attempt, what you avoid, and how you respond when life becomes difficult. A strong mindset does not remove challenges. It prepares you to meet them. It helps you stay grounded. When things go well and steady, when things get hard. Mastering your mindset is not about forcing positive thoughts. It is about understanding the stories you tell yourself. It is about choosing beliefs that support your goals instead of beliefs that limit your future. Your mindset becomes the lens through which you see your life. Change the lens, and the world looks different. The story you tell yourself. Every person carries an inner story. It may be a story of strength. It may be a story of doubt. Most people never question this story. They accept it as truth. But your story can be rewritten. It can be shaped into something stronger and healthier. Imagine 2 people facing the same challenge. One says, "This is too hard for me." The other says, "This will be hard, but I can learn through it." The challenge is the same. The difference is the mindset. Your inner story defines your limits. It also defines your potential. If your mind tells you that you cannot grow, you will not try. If your mind tells you that you can change, you create space for improvement. To master your mindset, you must first become aware of your story. Listen to the thoughts you repeat. Are they lifting you or lowering you? Are they guiding you forward or holding you back? Awareness is the first step toward control. How thoughts shape behavior. Your thoughts influence your actions. Your actions shape your habits. And your habits build your future. This is why mindset matters more than motivation. Motivation fades, but mindset creates direction. For example, a person who thinks, "I am terrible at planning," not because the task is impossible, but because their mindset tells them to escape it. This avoidance becomes a habit. The habit becomes a pattern. The pattern shapes their life. Now imagine a different mindset. I am learning to plan better. With this simple shift, the person opens the door to progress. They take small steps. Each step builds confidence, and confidence strengthens the new mindset. Your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are the seeds of your behavior. Once you change the seed, the entire direction of your life can change. A story of mindset in action. There was a young athlete who struggled during training. Whenever he made a mistake, he became frustrated. He told himself, "I am not good enough." These words created tension in his body and fear in his mind. He performed worse each time. One day his coach said something simple: "Stop saying you are not good enough. Start saying you are getting better." The athlete resisted at first. He thought the phrase was too simple to matter, but he tried it anyway. Each time he missed a shot, he repeated, "I am getting better." Slowly his body relaxed. His focus improved. His confidence returned. Within months his performance changed dramatically. Not because he trained harder, but because he trained with a different mindset. This story shows a powerful truth. Your mind sets the tone for your effort. A supportive mindset helps you grow. A negative mindset steals your potential. Building a stronger mindset. A powerful mindset is not built overnight. It develops through practice, awareness, and intention. Here are clear steps to strengthen it. Step 1. Notice your automatic thoughts. Do they help you? Do they hurt you? Step 2. Replace limiting thoughts with supportive ones. Not unrealistic. Not overly positive. Simply supportive. Step 3. Focus on progress, not perfection. A strong mindset values growth, not flawless results. Step 4. Celebrate effort. Effort is the fuel of improvement. When you acknowledge it, your mind learns to appreciate the process. Step 5. Surround yourself with positive influences. Your environment affects your mindset. Choose people and content that pull you upward. These steps may feel small, but they will reshape the way you see yourself. And when you change how you see yourself, you change how you live. Why mindset matters in discipline. Discipline requires a resilient mind. When you try to build new habits, your old habits will resist. They will pull you back to comfort. Without a strong mindset, you fall into the same patterns again and again. A solid mindset helps you stay focused. It reminds you why you are improving. It helps you overcome temptation. It keeps you moving when the excitement fades. Discipline grows from the inside out. Your actions follow your beliefs. If your beliefs are strong, your actions become consistent, and consistency creates transformation. Actionable insight. One thought to practice today. Choose one supportive thought today. A simple one. A thought that encourages growth. Something like, "I can learn this. I can improve. I am capable. I am becoming stronger." Repeat it each time you feel doubt. Repeat it until it becomes familiar. Thoughts become habits. Habits become identity. Identity becomes destiny. Master your mind. Master your life. Your mindset is the foundation of your growth. It is the engine behind your discipline. It is the story that guides your future. When you master your mindset, you gain strength. You gain clarity. You gain the power to face challenges without fear. You develop the resilience needed for long-term improvement. The world around you may not always be in your control, but your mind can be. And once your mind becomes steady, your life becomes steady. Your decisions become stronger. Your actions become consistent. your growth becomes inevitable. Master your mindset, and you master everything that follows. Chapter 5. Building the habit of showing up. There is a simple truth behind every form of growth. You cannot improve at anything if you do not show up. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be confident. You only need to be present. Over time, this habit becomes your greatest strength. Showing up is the bridge between intention and action. Many people dream of progress, but never take the steps that make progress real. They wait for the right mood. They wait for the right energy. They wait for everything to feel comfortable. But growth rarely begins in comfort. It begins in motion. Building the habit of showing up means committing to consistency, even when you feel ordinary, tired, or unsure. It means doing the small actions that keep you connected to your goals. The days when you feel your lowest are often the days that matter most. Why showing up matters more than skill. There is a common belief that talent drives success, but talent is only potential. Consistency is what unlocks that potential. A person who shows up daily will outperform the person who shows up occasionally with more talent. Think about someone who wants to learn a language. They may study for hours once a week, then skip days at a time. Their progress stalls. Meanwhile, another person practices for 10 minutes every day. They make steady improvement. Their consistency fuels their confidence. Their confidence fuels their growth. The difference is not ability. The difference is presence. When you show up, you give yourself an opportunity to improve. When you skip, you break the rhythm of growth. Once rhythm breaks, starting again becomes harder. Showing up keeps the rhythm alive. A story about keeping the promise. There was a woman who wanted to start running. Her goal was simple: run a little each morning. But every morning she debated with herself. She told herself she was tired. She told herself she would start tomorrow. And tomorrow never came. One morning she changed her approach. She made a rule. I will put on my running shoes every day. She said, no requirement to run. Just put on the shoes. At first it felt silly, but she honored the rule. Some days she only walked to the door. Other days she jogged for a few minutes. Slowly she built momentum, and after a few weeks she found herself running regularly. Her success did not come from motivation. It came from showing up in the smallest way possible. And that simple action built a habit that grew into something bigger. This story shows that showing up is not about intensity. It is about presence. Once you are present, the next step becomes easier. Removing the resistance. The hardest part of any task is often the beginning. Once you start, your mind relaxes. Your energy rises. You move from hesitation to action. This is why showing up works. It quiets resistance. It breaks the mental wall that stands between thinking and doing. Here are common forms of resistance. You feel tired. You feel distracted. You feel unprepared. You feel unsure. Showing up even when you feel these things teaches the mind an important lesson. I can act without perfect conditions. This creates resilience. It strengthens your discipline. It prepares you for real-world challenges. How to build the habit of showing up. Building this habit does not require big changes. It requires small intentional steps repeated daily. Step 1. Make the action easy to begin. Remove friction. Set up your tools the night before. Prepare what you need so the start feels light. Step 2. Focus on starting, not finishing. Tell yourself, I will show up for 2 minutes. Once you begin, you often continue naturally. Step 3. Honor the commitment on your hardest days, especially when you feel low. Those moments build character and inner strength. Step 4. Track your presence, not your performance. You showed up. That is success. Step 5. Celebrate consistency. Recognition strengthens the habit. This process turns effort into routine. Routine becomes automatic, and automatic behavior becomes identity. The identity shift. When you show up consistently, your identity begins to change. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who tries. You begin to see yourself as someone who acts, someone who follows through, someone who takes growth seriously. Identity is a powerful driver. Once you believe you are disciplined, you behave in ways that match that belief. Showing up reinforces this identity each day. This means the habit becomes self-strengthening. The more you show up, the more capable you feel. The more capable you feel, the more you show up. This creates a cycle of progress that is hard to break. Actionable insight. Your bare minimum rule. Create a bare minimum rule for one area of your life. A rule so simple that you cannot fail. Something like, I will write for 1 minute. I will stretch for 1 minute. I will review my goals for 1 minute. I will clean for 1 minute. The goal is not the minute itself. The goal is presence. Once you begin, your mind warms up, and the task becomes easier. Your bare minimum rule becomes the anchor that keeps your habit alive even on difficult days. Showing up creates unstoppable momentum. When you show up each day, you build momentum. Momentum carries you through doubt, excuses, and low energy. It creates stability. It keeps your progress alive. The truth is simple. Progress does not require perfection. It requires presence. Each day you show up, you move one step closer to the life you want. Each day you show up, you strengthen your discipline. Each day you show up, you honor the future you are building. Showing up is more than a habit. It is a statement that says you believe in your growth. A statement that says you are committed to improvement. A statement that says you are ready to rise. Show up today. Show up tomorrow. Show up until the habit becomes part of who you are. And watch how your consistent presence transforms your life. Chapter 6. What to do when you feel stuck. Every journey of growth includes moments when you feel stuck. Moments when progress slows. Moments when you wonder if you are moving forward at all. Feeling stuck does not mean you have failed. It means you are human. And it means you have reached a point where a new level of clarity is ready to emerge. Many people stop when they feel stuck. They assume the stuck feeling is a sign to quit. But the truth is simple. Feeling stuck is often a sign that growth is about to happen. It is the pause before the breakthrough. It is the tension before the shift. What you do in these moments matters more than what you do when things are easy. Why feeling stuck happens. Feeling stuck comes from many places. You may be overwhelmed. You may be tired. You may have taken on too much too fast. Or you may be growing in ways you cannot yet see. Sometimes your mind needs time to adjust. Sometimes your emotions need space to settle. Sometimes your habits are changing beneath the surface, even when the results are not visible. Understanding this takes the pressure away. You stop fighting the feeling. You stop panicking. You stop believing that you are moving backward. You begin to see the stuck moment as part of the process. Step 1. Pause without quitting. When you feel stuck, do not force yourself to push harder. Forcing leads to burnout. Instead, pause with intention. A short pause gives your mind time to reset. It gives your energy time to settle. It helps you regain clarity. The key is simple: pause but do not quit. Take a breath. Take a step back. Then decide your next small move. This pause is not weakness. It is preparation. Step 2. Simplify the path. Feeling stuck often comes from trying to do too much at once. Your responsibilities pile up. Your goals stretch too far. Your mind becomes cluttered. When this happens, simplify. Do one small task. Clean one corner of your room. Read one page. Complete one part of your routine. Small wins break mental tension. They restore control. They create a sense of progress, even when the larger journey feels heavy. Think of it like clearing a small path through a dense forest. Once you make a little room, you can move again. A story about regaining movement. A man once tried to start a business. He planned everything. He built a structure. But after a few months he felt stuck. Nothing moved forward. His motivation dropped. He considered quitting. In frustration, he visited an older mentor. The mentor listened quietly and said, "You are stuck because you are trying to move a mountain. Stop pushing the mountain. Move one stone." That advice changed everything. The man returned home and chose one simple task. Send one email. Update one part of his plan. Learn one small skill. Within days, momentum returned. Within months, his business grew. Not because his path got easier, but because he stopped trying to do everything at once. This story is a reminder that movement creates clarity, and clarity dissolves the feeling of being stuck. Step 3. Replace pressure with curiosity. Pressure shuts the mind down. Curiosity opens it. When you feel stuck, shift your perspective. Ask simple questions. What is one thing I can try right now? What is one step that does not feel heavy? What can I learn from this moment? What is this feeling trying to tell me? These questions turn a stressful moment into an opportunity. They pull you out of fear and into problem solving. They help you find solutions you could not see before. Curiosity creates space, and space allows movement. Step 4. Return to your why. When your actions lose meaning, progress becomes harder. Your why is the emotional anchor that keeps you connected to your goals. When you feel stuck, reconnect with it. Ask yourself, why did I begin? Who am I becoming? What will my life look like if I continue? What will it look like if I stop? These questions remind you of the bigger picture. They turn the stuck moment into a temporary pause instead of a permanent stop. Your why reignites your energy. It brings direction back into focus. It gives purpose to the small steps ahead. Step 5. Celebrate micro progress. You may feel stuck because you overlook the progress you are making. Your mind focuses on what you have not achieved instead of what you have done. Shift your focus. Look at the small wins. Look at the effort you gave. Look at the discipline you built. Look at the steps you took that once felt impossible. Celebrating micro progress does not make you arrogant. It makes you aware. Awareness brings gratitude. Gratitude brings momentum. Actionable insight. Create a stuck plan. Prepare a simple plan for the days when you feel stuck. Your plan should include one small task you can do, one positive phrase you can repeat, one way to reduce pressure, one reminder of your purpose. When the stuck feeling arrives, follow the plan. It gives you structure. It gives you direction. It gives you a way forward when your mind feels blocked. Feeling stuck is not the end. Feeling stuck is part of growth. It is a sign that you are stretching beyond your comfort zone. It is a signal that something new is forming inside you. It is not a stop sign. It is a message to slow down, breathe, and adjust. When you understand this, the feeling loses its power. You stop fearing it. You start working with it instead of against it. You take one small step, then another, and slowly movement returns. You are never as stuck as you feel. You are simply in the middle of becoming someone stronger. Chapter 7. Self-discipline versus motivation. Most people start their journey with excitement. They feel inspired. They feel energized. They feel ready to take massive action. But excitement fades. Energy drops. Life gets busy. And motivation disappears as quickly as it arrived. This is where most people stop. Not because they are weak. Not because they are lazy. But because they depended on motivation to carry them. Motivation is a spark, not a system. It begins the journey, but it cannot sustain it. Only self-discipline can do that. Self-discipline is the steady force that keeps you moving when motivation melts away. It is the structure that holds your goals together. It is the habit of making choices that support your future, even when your emotions disagree. To grow in a real and lasting way, you must understand the difference between these two forces, and you must learn how to use them wisely. The nature of motivation. Motivation feels good. It gives you a rush of energy. It pushes you to start new habits. It fills your mind with possibility. But motivation is emotional. It changes with your mood, your environment, your energy level, and even the weather. You may wake up inspired one day and feel drained the next. You may have a powerful vision today and lose focus tomorrow. Motivation rises and falls like a wave. This is why people start diets and quit within a week. Why they join the gym and stop going after a month. Why they set ambitious goals and abandon them after a few setbacks. They depended on motivation, which was never designed for consistency. Motivation is a great starter, but a terrible finisher. The nature of self-discipline. Self-discipline is different. It is calm. It is steady. It is not controlled by emotion. It is controlled by commitment. Self-discipline is the ability to follow through on your decisions even when you do not feel like it. It is the choice to honor your standards on good days and bad days. It is the quiet strength that pushes you forward when the excitement disappears. Discipline says, I will do what I said I would do because it matters, not because I feel like it. This simple shift in thinking changes everything. It gives you power over your day. It gives you control over your habits. It allows you to build a life based on intention, not emotion. A story that reveals the difference. There was a young man who wanted to learn guitar. He felt motivated at the beginning. He practiced for hours during the first week. He imagined himself performing on stage. The excitement felt incredible. But after a few weeks the excitement faded. The strings hurt his fingers. The progress felt slow. The dream no longer felt urgent. He practiced less. Then he stopped. Months later he met someone who had started learning guitar at the same time. This person practiced only 20 minutes a day. Nothing extreme. No long sessions. Just 20 minutes. But they practiced every day. The difference was clear. One relied on motivation. The other relied on discipline. The second person became skilled. Not because they worked harder, but because they worked consistently. This story shows a powerful truth. Consistency beats intensity. Discipline beats motivation. Why your brain loves motivation and fears. Discipline. Motivation feels exciting. It gives your brain quick rewards. It feels like success before success even happens. Discipline does not offer this instant reward. It demands effort. It demands sacrifice. It demands action without comfort. Your brain naturally avoids discomfort. This is why discipline feels difficult at first. But once the habit forms, discipline becomes easier than inconsistency. The brain adapts. It learns the new pattern. The action becomes automatic. Discipline becomes a source of strength instead of a burden. How to use motivation and discipline together. Motivation is not the enemy. It is a helpful tool when used correctly. The key is to let motivation inspire you and let discipline guide you. Here is how they can work together. Use motivation to start. Let the excitement help you take the first step. Use discipline to continue. Let your standards and habits carry you through the hard days. Use motivation to refresh. Watch an inspiring video. Read a motivating story. Talk to someone uplifting when your energy feels low. Use discipline to finish. Commitment creates completion. When you combine both forces, you become unstoppable. Actionable insight. Create a discipline anchor. Choose one action you will do every day, no matter what. Not when you are motivated. Not when you feel good. Every day. It could be a 10-minute walk, a short writing session, reviewing your goals, a brief workout, reading one page. This anchor becomes your proof of discipline. It becomes the foundation of your improvement. Even on your worst days, you complete this one task. Doing so protects your momentum and strengthens your mindset. Discipline builds the life you want. Your future is not shaped by what you do when you feel motivated. It is shaped by what you do when you do not. Anyone can act on their best days. The real transformation happens on the ordinary days. The days when motivation is silent. The days when you rely on your inner commitment. Discipline makes you trustworthy to yourself. It builds confidence. It builds self-respect. It gives you control over your direction. Motivation may open the door, but discipline is what walks you through it. Grow your discipline, strengthen your commitment, and you will create results that motivation alone could never achieve. Chapter 8. The environment that shapes your growth. Your environment is one of the strongest forces in your life. It guides your habits. It influences your thoughts. It shapes your behavior in ways you may not even notice. No matter how strong your willpower is, the space around you either supports your growth or pulls you away from it. Many people try to build discipline with a weak environment. They rely only on motivation or personal strength. But growth becomes easier when the world around you works with you instead of against you. Your environment can be a silent coach that reminds you of your goals, or it can be a silent enemy that distracts you from them. Understanding this gives you power. It allows you to design your surroundings so improvement becomes the natural result of how you live. How your surroundings influence you. Your environment includes everything that interacts with your daily life. Your home, your workspace, your friends, your digital world, even the objects you keep near you. Each part of your environment affects your behavior. A cluttered space creates a cluttered mind. A noisy room weakens focus. Negative people drain your energy. Constant distractions slow your progress. But the opposite is also true. A clean space calms your mind. A quiet room boosts concentration. Supportive people lift your spirit. Positive reminders strengthen your discipline. Your surroundings are never neutral. They are always shaping you even when you are unaware of it. A simple story about environmental power. There was a man who wanted to eat healthier. He tried using willpower. He tried setting rules. But every night he found himself snacking on junk food. He felt frustrated and wondered why he kept failing. One day he looked around his kitchen. His counters were filled with snacks. His fridge was filled with sugary drinks. The environment was working against him, so he changed it. He removed the junk food. He stocked the fridge with fresh options. He placed a bowl of fruit where the snacks used to be. Within days his habits changed, not because he became stronger, but because his environment became aligned with his goals. This story reveals a simple truth. Changing your environment often leads to faster progress than trying to change your willpower. People, the most powerful part of your environment. The people you spend time with influence your growth more than you realize. You absorb their energy. You mirror their habits. You pick up their language, their attitudes, and their beliefs. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you will start complaining. If you surround yourself with people who make excuses, you will find excuses. If you surround yourself with people who settle, you will feel tempted to settle too. But when you spend time with people who are focused, disciplined and driven, something shifts inside you. Their energy pulls you upward. Their habits inspire your own. Their commitment strengthens your mindset. This does not mean you must cut people out of your life. It means you must become aware of the influence they hold, and choose more time with those who support your growth. Even one positive person can change your direction. Digital environment. The hidden influencer. Your digital world shapes you as much as your physical world. The content you see, the voices you hear, the posts you consume, all of it affects your thoughts and your mood. If you fill your digital space with negativity, you will feel negative. If you fill it with distractions, you will feel scattered. If you fill it with unrealistic comparisons, you will feel discouraged. But if you fill your digital world with inspiring content, educational material, and positive influences, your mindset becomes stronger. Your focus becomes sharper. Your goals feel more real. Your phone can be a tool for growth or a trap for distraction. You choose which one it becomes. Designing an environment for success. Creating a growth-friendly environment does not require major changes. Small adjustments create big improvements. Here are simple steps. Step 1. Clear physical clutter. A clean space builds a clean mind. Step 2. Place reminders where you can see them. Your goals, your standards, your priorities. Step 3. Remove unnecessary temptations. Make distractions harder to reach. Make positive actions easier. Step 4. Curate your digital world. Unfollow negativity. Add content that encourages growth. Step 5. Spend more time around encouraging people. People who challenge you. People who believe in improvement. Each step strengthens your environment. Each step supports your discipline. Each step makes growth more natural. Actionable insight. Create a growth corner. Choose one small area in your home dedicated to your improvement. A quiet place for reading. A desk for writing. A spot for exercise. A space for reflection. This becomes your personal growth corner. A physical reminder that your improvement matters. A space that signals your mind to focus and commit. In time, this corner becomes a symbol of your journey. A place where small steps turn into big results. Your environment is your silent partner. Your environment can inspire you or exhaust you. It can lift you or limit you. It can guide your discipline or distract you from it. When you shape your surroundings with intention, you give yourself a powerful advantage. You make your path smoother. You make your habits easier. You make your growth more natural. The life you want is built not only by what you do but also by what surrounds you. Design your environment with care. Shape it with purpose. And let it become a quiet force that pushes you toward your best self. Chapter 9. Tracking your progress the smart way. Progress is not just something you create. It is something you measure. When you track your progress, you make your growth visible. You give yourself proof that your effort matters. You stay connected to your goals. You make better decisions. because you know what is working and what is not. Many people skip this step. They work hard, but they never pause to see the results. As a result, they feel lost. They feel unsure. They feel like nothing is changing, even when it is. Tracking your progress does not require charts or complicated systems. It requires awareness. It requires honesty. It requires consistency. When you track your progress the smart way, you create clarity. Clarity leads to motivation. Motivation leads to better habits. And better habits lead to real transformation. Why tracking matters. What you measure becomes easier to improve. When you track something, you bring it into your awareness. You shine a light on your habits. You see patterns that were hidden before. Tracking also protects you from discouragement. Sometimes progress is slow. Sometimes it is invisible day to day. But when you look back at your notes, your steps or your streaks, you realize you have come much farther than you thought. Tracking gives you confidence. It gives you momentum. It gives you direction. It reminds you that your effort is paying off, even on the days when you cannot see the results clearly. A story of hidden progress. There was a young woman who wanted to become stronger. She worked out every day for several weeks, but she felt frustrated because she did not see a big change in the mirror. She told herself she was failing. One day, her trainer asked her to look at her journal. She had written down her workouts every day. The trainer pointed out that the weights she lifted were much higher than when she began. Her endurance had improved. Her technique had improved. Her consistency had improved. She had grown in many ways, but she could not see it because she never looked back. This moment changed everything. She realized that progress is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, gradual and easy to miss unless you track it. This story shows a powerful truth. If you do not measure your growth, you may assume you have none. The simplicity of smart tracking. Smart tracking is simple. It does not overwhelm you. It does not demand long reports. It focuses on the essentials. Here are 3 things worth tracking. Track your actions. What did you do today to move closer to your goals? Track your consistency. How many days did you show up? Track your direction. Are you getting closer to the result you want? These 3 pieces of information can transform your journey. They show the truth. They show the patterns. They show the opportunities for improvement. Tools that make tracking easy. You do not need complex software to track your progress. Simple tools work best. You can use a notebook, a calendar, a notes app on your phone, a habit tracker, a journal, a simple checklist. Choose the method that feels easy and natural. If it is easy, you will use it. If it is complicated, you will avoid it. Consistency matters more than perfection. Track in a way that supports your mindset. Tracking is not about judging yourself. It is not about making you feel guilty. It is about helping you grow with awareness. Ask yourself simple questions. What worked today? What slowed me down? What can I adjust tomorrow? What am I proud of? These questions help you learn from your actions. They shift your focus from frustration to improvement. They turn tracking into a positive experience instead of a stressful one. When your tracking supports your mindset, it becomes a powerful tool. When tracking reveals patterns, tracking shows patterns you may not notice in the moment. You may realize that you work best in the morning. You lose focus when you skip sleep. You grow faster when you simplify your tasks. You stay consistent when you prepare the night before. You slow down when your environment becomes cluttered. These patterns give you insight. Insight gives you power. With this power, You can shape your habits intentionally instead of guessing what works. Tracking turns confusion into clarity. Actionable insight. The 3-line daily record. Here is a simple method that takes less than 1 minute each day. Write 3 lines. Line 1. What did I do today for my growth? Line 2. What did I learn about myself today? Line 3. What is one small improvement for tomorrow? This record is quick. It is clear. It builds awareness. And it strengthens your discipline. Over weeks and months, these small daily notes form a map of your progress. A map that proves your effort. A map that shows your evolution. Tracking makes your future visible. Tracking your progress gives you confidence. It shows you that your discipline matters. It reveals that small steps create meaningful results. It keeps you grounded and aware. Most importantly, tracking helps you build a future with intention instead of chance. When you know where you are, you know where to go next. When you know what works, you know what to repeat. When you see progress, you protect your motivation. Tracking is not just a method. It is a form of self-respect. It is a way to honor your effort and your commitment. Track with purpose. Track with simplicity. Track with honesty. And watch how this simple practice accelerates your growth. Chapter 10. The Power of Accountability. No one succeeds alone. Every person who grows, every person who transforms, every person who reaches a higher level, does so with support. That support may come from a mentor, a partner, a friend, or even a simple tracking system. This support has a name. It is called accountability. Accountability is the structure that keeps your actions aligned with your goals. It is the gentle pressure that pushes you forward. It is the reminder that your growth matters. And it is one of the most powerful tools you can use to strengthen your discipline. When you rely only on yourself, your feelings can take control. One tired day can break your momentum. One doubt can slow your progress. But accountability protects you from those moments. It keeps you anchored when your motivation wavers. What accountability really means. Accountability is not punishment. It is not pressure. It is not someone judging you. It is support. It is guidance. It is a commitment to your own future. Accountability means you are no longer carrying the journey alone. You have someone or something that reflects your progress back to you. This reflection gives clarity. It keeps your goals alive. It keeps your energy focused. Accountability works because humans are more consistent when they know they are being observed, even if the only observer is themselves. Why accountability increases commitment. When you share your goals with someone you trust, the goal becomes real. Your mind treats it with more seriousness. Your actions become more intentional. You feel responsible for following through. This responsibility strengthens discipline. It reduces excuses. It increases follow-through. It builds momentum. Think of it like having a training partner at the gym. You may skip a session alone, but when someone is waiting for you, you show up. Not because you feel motivated, but because you are accountable. Accountability turns your goals into commitments. Commitments you respect. Commitments you want to protect. A story about accountability in action. There was a man who struggled with writing his first book. He had ideas. He had passion. He had motivation. But he lacked consistency. He wrote for a few days, then stopped. He told himself he was too busy. He told himself he needed more inspiration. But deep down he knew he was avoiding the work. One day he joined a small online writing group. Everyone shared their daily progress. Not for judgment, for support. He began posting his word count each night. Some days it was a few hundred words. Some days it was only one paragraph. But he posted something. Within months his book was complete. Not because he suddenly became more motivated, but because accountability kept him moving. This story shows something important. Accountability turns inconsistent effort into continuous progress. Types of accountability. Accountability comes in many forms. Choose what works best for your personality and lifestyle. Personal accountability. This is when you track your own actions. A journal, a checklist, or a progress calendar can keep you focused. Seeing your streak grow becomes a powerful motivator. Partner accountability. This involves one other person, a friend, a spouse, a co-worker. You share your goals and update each other. You become teammates in growth. Group accountability. This involves a community of people with similar goals. Groups create energy. They create shared momentum. They make the journey less lonely and more inspiring. Professional accountability. This involves a coach, mentor, or instructor. Someone who guides you. Someone who asks the hard questions. Someone who reminds you of your potential. Each form has value. Each form keeps you aligned. Each form strengthens discipline. How accountability improves discipline. Discipline thrives in structure. Accountability creates that structure. It gives you clear expectations, honest reflection, consistent reminders, external encouragement, and a sense of responsibility. When you have someone cheering for you, pushing you, and reminding you of your goals, you grow faster. You become more committed. You become more focused. Accountability is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of wisdom. Even the world's top performers use accountability. Athletes have coaches. Business leaders have advisors. Creators have teams. Success grows in connection. Actionable insight. Build your accountability system. Choose one simple accountability system you can begin today. Here are options. Share your daily goal with someone you trust. Join a small group with similar goals. Create a shared progress sheet with a friend. Track your habits on a visible daily checklist. Work with a coach if you want deeper guidance. Make the system easy to maintain. Make the expectations clear. Make the updates consistent. The easier your system is, the more reliable it becomes. Accountability turns effort into achievement. When you embrace accountability, you give your discipline the support it needs. You stay focused longer. You stay consistent more often. You bounce back faster after setbacks. You reach milestones that once felt out of reach. Accountability multiplies your strength. It expands your possibilities. It makes your growth sustainable. You do not need to walk the path alone. Let someone stand beside you. Let someone encourage you. Let someone help you stay on track. Because when accountability enters your life, your goals stop being wishes. They become promises. Promises you keep. Promises you fulfill. Promises that shape the future you deserve. Chapter 11. How to push past your limits safely. Growth requires challenge. It requires stretching beyond comfort. It requires a willingness to reach a little farther than you did yesterday. But pushing past your limits does not mean pushing yourself into exhaustion. It does not mean ignoring your health or sacrificing your well-being. True growth is strong, steady, and sustainable. Many people push themselves too hard, too fast. They chase quick results and end up burned out. Others do the opposite. They avoid challenge because they fear discomfort. But the real path lies between the two. You grow when you stretch your limits in a balanced and intentional way. Learning how to push safely ensures your progress lasts. It protects your energy, it strengthens your discipline, and it helps you reach new levels without harming yourself. Why you need limits to grow. Limits are not walls. They are signals. They show you where you stand right now. They reveal your current abilities. They give you a starting point for growth. When you challenge your limits, you teach your mind and body to adapt. You discover new levels of strength. You unlock confidence you did not know you had. You realize that progress is often waiting just one step past where you stopped last time. But pushing too hard can damage your progress. It creates fatigue. It builds frustration. It leads to quitting. This is why safe pushing matters. Safety preserves momentum. Sustainability builds mastery. The balance between challenge and care. Think of growth like training a muscle. If you never challenge the muscle, it stays weak. If you overload the muscle, it tears. But if you challenge it gradually, it grows stronger over time. Your habits work the same way. Your mindset works the same way. Your mindset works the same way. Balanced pressure creates progress. Unbalanced pressure creates burnout. Your goal is not to push yourself to the point of breaking. Your goal is to push yourself just enough to expand what you can handle. A story of safe progress. There was a man who wanted to run a marathon. At first he could barely run a mile. He felt discouraged. He compared himself to people who were far ahead of him. He wanted to jump straight to long distances, but his body was not ready. His coach gave him simple advice. Run 1 minute farther than yesterday. Not 10 minutes. Not 5 miles. Just 1 minute. He followed the rule. Each day 1 minute more. Some days he felt strong. Some days he struggled. But he stayed consistent. Months later, that 1 minute rule carried him to a full marathon. Not through force. Not through exhaustion. Through steady, safe expansion. This story teaches an important lesson. Small increases lead to large breakthroughs. Signs you are pushing safely. Pushing safely has clear signs. You feel challenged, not broken. You feel stretched, not overwhelmed. You feel tired, not exhausted. You feel progress, not panic. Another sign of safe pushing is recovery. When you push yourself the right way, your energy returns, your motivation returns, your discipline strengthens. Unsafe pushing does the opposite. It drains your energy. It weakens your discipline. It damages your momentum. Awareness helps you stay on the healthy side of growth. How to push past your limits without risk. Here are practical steps to stretch yourself safely. Step 1. Start with your current level. Do not pretend you are starting from a place you wish you were. Start from the truth. Growth becomes easier when the foundation is honest. Step 2. Increase the difficulty slowly. Add a little more time, a little more effort, a little more focus, but not so much that you dread returning tomorrow. Step 3. Listen to your body and mind. If your body screams for rest, rest. If your mind feels overwhelmed, simplify. Resting at the right moment protects your consistency. Step 4. Track your limit break moments. Write down the days you pushed beyond your usual range. These moments become reminders of your strength. Step 5. Celebrate controlled challenge. Give yourself credit for stretching. Acknowledgement reinforces growth. These steps help you build strength without breaking your momentum. The role of recovery. Pushing yourself is only half the equation. Recovering is the other half. Recovery is not laziness. It is maintenance. It restores your energy so you can push again tomorrow. Recovery includes proper rest, quiet time, mental breaks, good sleep, healthy movement, positive reflection. When you recover well, your next push becomes easier. When you neglect recovery, every push becomes a struggle. Recovery multiplies your progress. Actionable insight. Use the +1 method. The +1 method is simple. Whatever challenge you completed yesterday, add one small unit today. 1 minute more, 1 repetition more, 1 step more, 1 small stretch beyond your comfort. 1 is enough. 1 is safe. 1 builds progress. This method trains your mind to expect improvement in small, sustainable doses. Your limits are not fixed. Your limits are simply your current boundaries. They are not permanent. They shift as you grow. They expand as you train them. They move as your discipline strengthens. When you push past your limits safely, you build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more. You discover resilience you did not know you had. And you develop the confidence to keep climbing. Growth is not found in reckless action. It is found in intentional challenge. Challenge that stretches you. Challenge that empowers you. Challenge that helps you rise without falling. Push with awareness. Push with discipline. Push with care. Your limits will move, and your life will rise with them. Chapter 12. The Long Game. Discipline for life. Discipline is not a short burst of effort. It is not something you practice for a week or a month. It is not a temporary project. Discipline is a long game. It is a lifelong practice that shapes who you become and what you can achieve. Many people start strong but fade quickly. They treat discipline like a sprint. They push hard for a few days, then collapse under the weight of their own expectations. True growth does not work like that. Real transformation takes time. It takes patience. It takes the steady commitment to show up again and again, even when progress feels slow. When you play the long game, you no longer chase instant wins. You focus on building habits that last, habits that support your health, habits that strengthen your mindset, habits that lead you toward the future you want. Why the long game matters. You cannot build a meaningful life on short-term effort. The life you want is built through the choices you repeat, choices that become habits, habits that become identity, identity that becomes destiny. Short-term action gives you movement. Long-term discipline gives you direction. When you commit to the long game, you stop asking how fast can I get results. Instead you ask, how far can I go if I do the right things daily? This shift changes everything. It removes pressure. It builds consistency. It makes the journey enjoyable. You stop chasing the finish line. You start building the foundation. The compound power of time. Time is the greatest partner of discipline. With time, small habits become powerful. Small changes create big differences. Small decisions reshape entire areas of your life. Think of a tree. It does not grow in a day. It grows little by little, season after season. But one day, it stands strong and tall, not because of one dramatic moment, but because of steady growth over many years. Your life works the same way. When you commit to small habits for long periods, the results become extraordinary. Read a page a day. Learn one new idea a week. Save a small amount every month. Move your body regularly. Protect your mindset daily. These habits compound, they stack. They build a life of strength, clarity, and purpose. The long game rewards those who stay consistent. A story of lifelong discipline. There was an older man who played the piano beautifully. People admired his talent. They assumed he must have been born gifted. One day, someone asked him, "How long have you been playing?" He smiled and said, "About 50 years. Then he added something more important. And I still practice every day. He did not practice because he had to. He practiced because he valued the craft. Because discipline had become a natural part of his life. Because excellence is not maintained by talent alone. It is maintained by consistency. This story reveals a deep truth. Discipline is not something you finish. It is something you carry. How to build a life of lasting discipline. Building lifelong discipline requires intention. Here are simple principles. Focus on habits, not streaks. A streak can break. A habit survives. Value progress over perfection. Some days you will be strong. Some days you will struggle. Both are part of the journey. Create routines that feel natural. If something is difficult to start, simplify it. The easier it feels, the longer it lasts. Reflect often. Look at what is working. Look at what needs adjusting. Reflection keeps you aligned with your long-term goals. Be patient with yourself. Every strong person you admire had slow days. They succeeded because they did not quit during those days. Let your identity grow. Do not just act disciplined. Become disciplined. These principles help discipline evolve from a temporary effort into a lifelong strength. Why slow days still matter. Many people get discouraged when they have a slow day. They think slow means failure. They think slow means weakness. But slow days are part of the long game. Every journey has seasons. Seasons of high energy. Seasons of fatigue. Seasons of clarity. Seasons of confusion. The goal is not to avoid slow days. The goal is to keep going through them. Small action on a slow day keeps your momentum alive. It keeps you connected to your goals. It protects your identity as a disciplined person. In the long game, consistency matters far more than intensity. Actionable insight. Create your long game vision. Take a moment to imagine yourself 10 years from now. Picture your health. Picture your mindset. Picture your habits. Picture the life you have built through steady discipline. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What habits do I want to practice daily? What strengths do I want to develop? What lifestyle do I want to maintain? Write your answers down. This becomes your long game vision. A clear reminder of what you are building. A guide that helps you stay committed even during slow seasons. Your vision is the anchor that keeps long-term discipline alive. You are building a life, not a moment. The long game reminds you that growth is not about speed. It is about direction. It is about commitment. It is about honoring your future self with the choices you make today. When you embrace discipline as a lifelong practice, you create a strong foundation. A foundation for steadily. A foundation for success. A foundation for a life that reflects your values. You do not need to rush. You only need to continue. Step by step. Day by day. Habit by habit. The long game belongs to those who stay. Stay committed. Stay consistent. Stay aligned with the person you are becoming. You are not just building a habit. You are building a life. A life shaped by discipline, strengthened by patience, and guided by purpose.